Hey guys, kinggath here, and welcome to episode 0 of season 2 of my Sim Settlements Fallout 4 Forever Let's Play. So we're going to jump back and forth between a couple of characters now. Basically, as we launch additional Conqueror Raider questline content, I'll jump back over to Raider Gath. But for now, we are starting the Father Gath line where we are going to lead the children of Adam, and we're going to be using the Adam's Glory faction pack. We're going to go through and play some Far Harbor. We're going to play the South of the Sea mod. I'm really excited about this because not only are we doing all of those things, but I am using for the first time ever a full landscape overhaul set. So I'm using the Borealis set with Conifer's Redux and Mystic Pines and Boston Natural Surroundings. So the whole world is going to look completely different. This is the first time I've ever played like this. I've always wanted to try one of these, but for the first playthrough I did coming back after God knows how long I hadn't played the game for real, which is what the Raider character was, I wanted to keep things fairly vanilla feeling. Now I'm ready to go hardcore in. So this is my character. I wanted somebody who looks a little older, and my goal for role-playing this character is I'm going to be kind of nature-focused for a while until we get to the COA. And I'm not going to show you guys all of the progress as I go. You'll probably come back and get check-in points after I level a bit, because I'm going to power through and get to Far Harbor as quickly as possible so we can get into some of the Children of Adam stuff. And I think from there, that's how we're going to justify RP, why our character is running an army of the Children of Adam. Not only that, we are going to make heavy use of the war options, and we have added a ton of settlement mods. So the cool thing about starting a new season here is we get a new chance to come up with a new cool load order, and you guys get to once again have a not blank slate, not even by the little bit, but you get a new chance to recommend mods to me. So you can go ahead and even recommend mods maybe that have already been recommended in the past that maybe I missed that you guys think would go well with this character. So we're going to go ahead and set up our war options. And before we do that, though, I want to show you guys how I've changed the mod suggestions documents. So if I pop over here, I've got the Raider one. I've cleaned it up quite a bit so that it's down to virtually just the mods I actually was using before we paused this character. And then I linked the things like the mod explanation. So the rules for recommending mods to me are listed there, linked, so you can see them. And if you follow one more link, you can see the mods people have already suggested to me. And at the top of that are the rejected ones. So you'll know, or you can read my explanation of why I skipped a mod. Some of them I just skipped because I didn't think they would fit with the character I was on. So you can definitely check these lists to see if you should even bother to suggest a particular mod. But I'm definitely open to looking at some mods again, maybe that I missed out on in season 1, if you guys think that they'll fit the character that we're developing here with the Children of Adam. Another thing I did here is you'll see that there's a season 1 Post-Mortem, and these are the mods that didn't make the cut. They didn't carry over to my new mod list to start with, and I gave the reasons for them. Generally, I just didn't feel like they were useful in my load order for this reason. It might have been, some of them were just quest mods that I didn't feel like I was going to play through again anyway. Some of them, though, I flagged in red. These are ones that I have some sort of problem with them, and if the authors fix them or there's a patch out there to fix them, I will restore those maybe, but for now, I'm getting rid of them because they're just not working for me. So if you're curious as to what mods and some of these I even recommended at some point throughout the season, but for various reasons, after playing with them for 40 episodes, I learned that I don't actually like them that much, and so this list here will show you the ones that didn't make the cut. So almost everything else, there might be a few small exceptions that I forgot to put on this list, but almost everything else seeded my season 2 list to start with. This is much, much bigger than my season 1 because you guys recommended a lot of awesome mods that I didn't know I would love so much, and so most of those carried forward. So we're starting right away with almost 200 mods, and some of these are ones that I just came up with on my own that I wanted to add, but most of these are ones you guys suggested here. So if you want to look through this list and see what we're starting with a ton. Not only are we starting with all these, but I am a sucker, and I picked up almost every single piece of Creation Club content because I want to play with it. I want to see what it's like. I want to see what it is Bethesda is giving us, and then you guys can maybe see and if any of it is something you actually care enough about to pick up, or you can, if it's stuff you watch for, they give this stuff away all the time or give it away for close to nothing. So if you've been avoiding Creation Club content because you hate microtransaction stuff, yeah, I get it totally, but I'm using it, and so you get a chance to at least see what it has to offer. And the reason that I'm doing that is because Captain Coots released this brilliant little mod called Creation Club Delayed. Before that, I wanted almost nothing to do with Creation Club content because it was driving me nuts with all the startup stuff. And so this mod solves that, and now those quests just start up as you get close to them. So this is pretty awesome, and it gave me a chance to use it. Some other new mods, I'm not going to go over all of this. You guys are going to see, before we end this video, you'll see the overhaul to the above world with Borealis and everything. But I want to point out a couple of mods that I'm using, or chunks of mods I'm using. So one thing I did is I installed most of the faction packs that I thought would be fun for this particular playthrough. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the war options to precede most of the settlements with different factions, and then we will have the our Children of Adam army go forth and make them bow before the Wheel of Adam over time. So it's going to be fun to have those and be able to scout them out with different factions. And I decided not to stop there. I decided I also want more settlements to conquer, because I think, unlike the raider playthrough where we were focused a lot on quests, I think I'm going to do a lot more raiding and attacking. And so there's likely going to be, episodes where I just take over 4 or 5 settlements, and I want to make sure that there's enough to do that for well. And so I've added a bunch of new custom settlements mods. I grabbed most of the ones by a few authors I know do a really good job of their settlements, and they actually make sure that they are fully functional in the system, that they work with some settlements. So I grabbed ones by Pra, by XV Versus, I think he goes by FTF Fan on the on Nexus, and those by Niher, and then I think a couple of other random ones. And I installed all of those as well, so we're going to use those with the war options as well. So we're just going to be pushing my system to the max, because we have this total overhaul with textures and adding all this greenery, plus we're going to seed all of these settlements with enemies. We're also going to start all of our city plans at level 3. So this is going to really push things again to the limit. We'll see what happens. If it collapses, so be it. We'll start another character. That's really fun. And a couple of mods I really want to point out are those that some of you guys suggested in Season 1 that I put on hold for later. One is Beastmaster, suggested by James Kavanaugh. So since I decided I'm going to go kind of a nature character that finds Adam and then goes in that direction, I thought this could be a fun time to try out Beastmaster. I know a lot of you guys are a huge fan of that mod. I love the idea of it. I just didn't want to focus on that when I was doing all of the Raider stuff. So now this is going to be something I want to play around with. I don't know if I'll get to it, but I like the idea of using it with this character. Another one I've installed is FCOM, and the reason I've installed this, and this was suggested by Baz Donitz, I guess, Baz Donitz, I don't know how you say that, but this was one that I wanted to check out, because this is the type of feature we definitely want to see in Conqueror, the ability to control squads of your guys a little more nuanced and give them orders and things like that. And so I feel like playing a little bit with FCOM, even though I think it's a very overpowered mod the way it's set up, I'm going to just experiment with it, maybe not in my general playthrough, but just in general. I'll probably take some off-camera time or maybe some on-camera time and just play around with it and see some of the options it offers and see some of the stuff we want to borrow for our implementation of something similar for your Conqueror armies when you're having to manage those. So I know a lot of you guys have asked me to add Conqueror support for FCOM, but it really would be just such a mess to mix those two together. And the way FCOM and Conqueror work, in that FCOM's leveling system is completely isolated from the way Conqueror's works, and then we have this whole attack system where the enemies are spawned on the fly and your soldiers are moved on the fly. It probably just wouldn't work built to try and tag into their mod, and so I'm just probably going to code my own variation of it with similar types of controls. And then lastly, we have of suggestions that I grabbed that I had missed before, Vanilla Unique Weapons Remastered, suggested by Whiskey Jack. I had been using Unique Uniques before, which does the exact same thing but in a different way, and so I decided to switch to this one for this character to see if I like this one better. And from this description, it sounds a lot better, so it actually does a lot of art changes, and I just like the way that this one sounds compared to Unique Unique, so I'm hopeful that this will be a good one. Though I have so many Creation Club weapons, so many weapon mods installed, it might be that I never actually use any of these unique weapons anyway, but it'll be fun to see them once in a while as we're doing quests. So definitely check out my mod list to see what we're going to be playing with, and head into if you want to recommend mods to me, be sure to read this document about recommending mods for me. I've got some rules on that so that I don't get spammed with crappy mods, and if you want to make sure I'm not going to just outright reject your mod, check my already suggested mods list. And all of that stuff will be linked in the description or off of the top up here of my new mod list that you can see, so that you guys, I wanted to clean this up, make it a little easier to read, so that those of you guys who want to follow along with this playthrough and make your own version of it can do so a little easier. All right, let's get to those war options. Let's set all those up, and I'll talk my way through these so that you guys can have some idea of how these things are actually going to work, so that you can have a similar experience if you like. So we gotta wait for that to pop up. It's probably gonna queue up behind all these other pop-ups that are coming up from all these various quest mods and armor mods and leveled list injections and all that fun stuff. Okay, so it looks like there is some mod in my load order that conflicts with the startup wizard, so I'll be researching that. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you guys a quick console command you can use to force start it. I do not recommend running this after you've exited the vault, because it puts an immense amount of pressure on your processor while it's running, and so it's really good to have it happening while you're in these early parts of the game where the full game world hasn't loaded yet. But once you exit the game world, if this system is running, building all those city plans, you're very likely to experience a crash while you're playing. So I would just highly caution against trying to run this in existing saves, and only do it in brand new saves. But it's right down there. You'll see it. Maybe Luke will do us the honor of blowing that up real big so you can see it, and hopefully I'll remember to put it in the description or comments or something. But it's CQF KG Conk _ city plan starter prepare to run wizard, and then that will trigger this little thing to pop up, and then in just a moment it will pop up the actual wizard. There we go. So now we're going to say yes, show me the options, and here we go. Let's go ahead and start setting this up. So we're going to start by looking at settlements and city plans. Let's pick our settlements, and I want to see if there's any in this startup list that we want to grab. I don't think so. I doubt I'll hit any of, I want to keep a couple open where I don't want to risk, for example, the what's it called? Triangle of Death issue with Red Rocket, Abernathy, and Sanctuary. And I don't want to ruin the quests. Like, I definitely want to grab dog meat, though we might trans-dogify them so we can have a new companion for this playthrough. And Sanctuary, we're probably not going to use a city plan in to start, and then I doubt we'll get down the castle line. We're definitely not going to be doing Mech Lair this playthrough, probably not Vault 88 either. Covenant's already got basically city, although I guess I won't do the quests, and the city plan for that is kind of cool, so I guess we'll do that one. Nuke World, we're not going to do this playthrough, so it doesn't matter, so I think that Covenant works. We'll add that to it. In particular of these, I definitely want to see some of the Far Harbor. So let's see here. Let's make sure that those are in here. What is this? The Loge. I don't know what that is. And actually, I got to make sure that, I wonder if what is the Loge? I wonder if that's a misspelling. That's supposed to be something else. Or, but the only ones that are supposed to show up in this list by default are those that have a city plan available. So that's very interesting that whatever that is showed up. But I definitely want to get the Far Harbor ones in, because we're going to be doing Far Harbor. And our Echo Lake design from Rise of the Commonwealth is Children of Adam themed, so it's absolutely perfect. But let me think here if there's any we want to get rid of. I don't think so. Some of these might be a little crashy for us, but we'll risk it. I really wish I knew what this Loge was. I'm gonna pull it out. Actually, you know what? We'll leave it. What's the worst can happen? If it's got a city plan, so be it. We're gonna leave it in there. So we're just gonna add Covenant here, and then let that update for a second. And the more settlements and city plans you have installed, the longer this section takes. So this is normal that it's taking longer, because I do have the contest entries mods installed, so I will have quite a lot of city plans to choose from. And we are going to I'm going to filter down and choose a few that I really like, but otherwise we're going to let it go kind of random. So like, I'm not particularly concerned about most of them. There's just a few that I want to give you guys a chance to check out the designs that our team put together for Rise of the Commonwealth, so we'll probably be grabbing those. But like, let's see here. So Finch Farm, we're going to use the Rise of the Commonwealth one. Hangman's Alley, the same. Jamaica Plain, and in fact, I even have the complex versions installed from Rise of the Commonwealth for these few that I want to show you all. So we will make sure that those get used, and then I will pull out those that I don't care about, so that you guys get a chance to see some of the community designed ones. So we'll get rid of these. I'm definitely going to use all of the ROTC from Far Harbor. Egret Tours we don't care about. Get rid of that. Hangman's Alley, Jamaica Plain. Longfells we want to use. We'll let that one randomize. I think, did we ever do did we ever even do Merkwater for, yeah, we did Merkwater as that was a long time ago we did that city plan contest. Nordhagen will pull out. Outpost Zimonia. I actually am going to leave that in, because I never got to show you guys level 3 in my last playthrough, and I really wanted to. I think that was a really cool design that the team did. And then we'll pull that out. Taffington. 10 Pines we don't care about. And let's see here. Oh, spectacle. I actually want to show off the. We're gonna show off my personal favorite design. Not necessarily my favorite in the winning and the judging. So the spectacle island was part of our masters contest, and we had a bunch of things we had to judge off of. And the one that won off of judging from my perspective was amazingly done. It's an absolute wonderful settlement by ND Cowdy. But my favorite crazy looking one, just the spectacle, was that by JebRWocky, just for the, like I said, for the absurd spectacle. And that's what I like showing off in these playthroughs is spectacle. Mortar X is also a good spectacle, and I think a lot of you guys have checked out ND Coyotes already because he was up there, and actually you've probably all checked out JebRWocky's because we made that video. So I think I'm going to use actually Mortars because it's crazy. It's something he went way out there, and I want to give a chance to put his on camera, but his and JebRWocky's are they're spectacles in a big way. They're not necessarily super functional, like the settlers can't really path around them in any way, but for a pure spectacle of just popping in and taking a look and for screenshots, they're pretty incredible. So I'm going to show those to you guys, one of those to you guys. Let's see here. Are there any others that I wanted to grab a specific one? Slog, Warwick. Franktown, Rontown will pull those out. I'd rather show off some of the community builds than the ones that you can already see, because while those are really cool, I like the designs that you did. They actually are from YouTube series, so if you really want to see them, you can go go just check out those YouTube series. All right, so I think where we go, we've got it set up so that the plans I want from our OTC are going to build, the one from the Masters contest, and the rest we're going to let randomized. So we'll confirm trade here, and then this will, and you can see this is one of the changes that happened with the 4.20 patch, is that for just a brief second little notes appear in front of your character. I haven't figured out a way around that. That is something that needed to happen to support the new war options, but worthy sacrifice because it's a really cool feature. So let's give that a second to clean that all up, and then we're going to go back. Let's go to level options. So we were going to start all our cities at level 3, which means this wizard's going to take a long time to run. So we're going to do some editing magic to make sure that you guys don't have to sit and watch all that. Allow cities to upgrade. We don't need that. We can turn it off. Plots start at city level on, so they're all going to start at level 3. It's going to look really awesome. And we want to use designer's choice building plans because that's the best chance that the plans will actually look right and path correctly. And I have just about every single add-on pack installed right now. I think there might be a couple I missed. In fact, if you see any I missed, definitely suggest them to me. It was likely an oversight. There are a couple that I just don't like the style of. I think that they're too clean, modern, or like don't fit my style of play in general, but for the most part I've got everyone installed. Settler options, allow population growth on, population, yeah, and we'll use the civilians. And then let's see here, randomization options. Randomize settlements to build off, randomize starting levels off, randomize populations off. Yeah, we want full everything. So we'll turn off all the randomization options. And now we're going to go down to war options. And we're going to turn pre-conquered settlements on. Faction guard density, we will do, let's do high. We're going to make it intense across the board. We're trying to push the limit here to see what we can do. Pick factions. Okay, let's see here. So we don't want our own Adam's Glory. We don't want to be fighting against ourselves. So you can see some of the faction packs I installed, and they will overwrite the so by default, if you just installed, or if you didn't install any faction packs, all you would see here would be Gunners and Minutemen would be the only ones available by default. And actually, Raiders should be available, so that looks like a bug I get to add to my list. Raiders should be on this list as well. But just Gunners, Minutemen, and Raiders are the ones that should be available by default. And I've installed a handful of others. Now, I also installed a Gunners and Minutemen faction pack that those will end up superseding the vanilla ones we have set up because we didn't put a ton of effort into those. They're just the bare minimum enough. We used just the leveled list actors that Bethesda created, and that was it. And it was designed just to make sure that there were actually factions that could attack against you, but didn't put a lot of time and thought into that because we wanted to leave that for the community to have so that we could put a lot of effort into each one that we do. So that's why our Raider one that we have from Jammer's Gang has a lot of custom special units, and we take a lot of time with that one. All right, so I'm waiting for all these messages off to the left to go away over here. I don't know what's going on with that. Why? And that's another thing that's going to go on my list. I can't mention enough how glad I am I started this series just for the sake of like thinking about quality of life things and improvements that we can make to just make this a more enjoyable experience. So I've learned a lot from watching this or from playing this rather for you guys on this series, and I've fixed a ton of bugs that I know some of you have reported and I've never been able to tackle. All right, so I like the Ledanks and the Gregs for the humor factor, but they're definitely not serious factions, so we're not going to start them off taking over anything. I think this is a nice little mix. I might pull out the Rust Devils, actually. And so then what we've got here is we've got a mix of, we've got some good guys and the Minutemen, the Regulators, and the Wastelanders. And then we got some bad guys and the Super Mutants, the Gunners, and the Libertalian Brothers. So that's a nice mix there. I guess we can leave the Rust Devils in. There's no reason not to use them. They're still, they're pretty lore friendly. They're not too silly. It's just a mix of robots and raiders, so I guess that works fine. We don't want to fight against Adam's Glory. We don't want Brotherhood of Steel because those won't have existed. Although realistically, we could claim when you guys see the Overgrowth mod that I'm using, which clearly has a bug because there's either the Overgrowth mods or the True Grass or something has a bug because there's grass growing inside of Sanctuary or inside of the player home in the pre-war area here. I'm sure some of you guys have been screaming at the screen about that. But we could claim that this is like way after the events of Fallout 4 since we're not going to be doing the main story for the most part anyway. And then we could justify Brotherhood of Steel that way. But I'm happy with just this list over here. So that you just pick the ones you want to start off taking over certain settlements. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to hit buy. Oh, I guess we didn't actually change anything. We're using the default. So we'll go ahead and hit exit. And now so we were happy with the default there. And now we're going to choose the settlements that we want to be used here. So it's going to start out with, this list starts out with all the ones that are available with city plans that don't have some sort of lock on them due to quests that we didn't want to interfere with, like Sanctuary. But I'm going to add in most of these extra ones. I got to be careful not to add these types of things. These are actually from the VR workstations. We don't want those to be pre-conquered. I also don't want to pre-conquer ones that have a lot of NPCs in them already, like General Atomics Galleria, but these other ones that I'm not really sure on, I'm going to go ahead and grab those and pre-populate them. We're going to leave Red Rocket and Sanctuary so that I have somewhere early in the game that I can start my faction from once we return from our little foray into Far Harbor and meet the Children of Adam. And let's see here. The Armory. I don't know what that is. We're not going to do the castle. We'll do Swan's Pond. Sure. I know there's some enemies there, but whatever. I don't know what the Armory is or the Loge is. If anybody knows what those are, please let me know. I'm thinking these might be from South of the Sea or something. I'm not really sure. I do have a couple of other random mods that these might be part of. So we're not going to do these other VR workshops either. And we're not going to do Vault 88. But there we go. So we added 5 new settlements that are going to add. They're going to be claimable. I kind of want to do General Atomics Gallery anyway because those NPCs aren't naturally attacking those robots there. You have to kind of piss them off. So maybe we'll do that one as well. And yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Because Castle already has Mirelurks swarming all over it. And Covenant's got a lot of people. Yeah, this feels pretty good. So we'll go ahead and accept this. This is a lot of settlements. So all these now are going to be taken over. I guess we'll pull Bunker Hill out because I actually want to show you guys that city plan. And I don't want to fight my way in there. So this is looking pretty good here. I'm also going to pull out Spectacle Island just because I know that city plan is nav mesh is going to be terrible. And it probably would just make for a bad experience. Oh, go away, Steam. Okay, so this is feeling pretty good to me. I guess we are all we're going to take away Echo Lake as well because that one is Children of Adam themed, the actual design of our ROTC, and so that might end up being our first base. We might end up taking that over first, and then that way, if it's not conquered already, that would be nice. So here we go. This looks pretty good. I'm just looking to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, well, you know what? We'll deal with it if it's a problem. All right, so look at this. We got the launch twice. What is going on here? I don't know what that is. I'm pulling it out. Don't want to break something. Okay, now we're happy. Okay, trade those. And then we close this out. And now all of those are going to end up with NPCs. And now the last things we got to do here are to change these cities. So faction decorations mean that the random decorations, the little totems and stuff will appear for the particular faction. I like those. I think those add a nice little bit of flavor. And even though they can sometimes be wonky and you'll end up with them flying in the air, they can all be scrapped in workshop mode, or I can use the disable command in console. So I'm okay with that if they end up in weird places. And then here we can decide if the Liberator factions are neutral to us or if they're hostile. I think I want to make everybody hostile to me. And that way it's much more dangerous, and I won't feel as bad when I start having to attack settlements that are just, happy little wastelanders. So we'll make those a little more dangerous. This is going to be all-out war. and I'm happy with this. So we're gonna hit OK on this, and I will see you guys outside of the vault.
No matter how inevitable Atom's reign in this land may be, they deny it. After years of skulking in the shadows like whipped dogs, our purpose is clear. Slay those who only wish to bring them the light. And when we are finally granted division, it will be as heroes. A new day dawns, brothers and sisters. Adam's veil will roll down its streets. Holy fog cleansing the land of their heresy. Glory to Atom!
Oh, I love the look of this mod already. Oh, here, what do we got here? Oh, got to answer more questions apparently. Immersion broken. And that golden retriever we can hear off barking, that's from the Creation Club delayed. That's what triggers that, which is really cool. That's it. Hopefully I don't have to get too many more pop-ups here, but yeah, as you can see, dramatic change. It adds, these mods I have add so many trees everywhere. This is just gonna feel like a totally different game. And so I'm excited to explore this with you guys. It's gonna feel way different than my other character. We're gonna be doing totally different things. We're gonna be seeing an environment that looks absolutely different. And I will finally be able to teach you guys the mechanics from Phase 2 of Conqueror right from the beginning, because one of the things that we lost with the Raider playthrough is because I was already so far in it, but by the time those mechanics came out, I never really had an opportunity to show you the early game and how it plays out, and I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with to get the resources balanced, so I'll be able to walk through that when we get to setting up our COA faction. So if you guys have mod suggestions you think will fit in this character and this playthrough based on everything I've told you about it, definitely make those below. I'm loving installing more mods. I love to see what you guys think I'll like and check those out. So keep them coming. As the rules in that little document state, try to limit yourself to one per week, because we want to give everybody a chance to throw me their favorite mods, and that way I don't have to read through giant lists of posts. I don't want to look through people's giant full mod lists or anything. Just want a couple at a time. We'll trickle them in slowly over the coming weeks of this playthrough. So expect episode 1 to come next week, and we'll see what we do. I have no idea how quickly I'm going to be able to get to all the Children of Adam and the glowing sea and all that, but we'll see. So thanks guys, and I'll catch you next week.